What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight we are running it back again with the OGs because Logue last second bail is missing out because this week has been spicy. Guys, I think this is the first week where we have a little bit of gameplay to talk about that's interesting. So, um, Uncle Shane, I know that we left last podcast and you said, you kind of were on the fence, kind of were swayed by Patrick in terms of who you wanted to leave. Um, and you don't have to deal with the beard anymore of Red. So are you kind of happy?
Yeah, I am. I feel like he was saying like he was saying these like quotes that were borderline disgusting. Did you hear the one where it was like, that's like wiping before you poop? It's like, man, that you're on television, dude. Like I get what you were saying, but it was like it was gross. I didn't need to hear that. Like I had just finished dinner. I was going to bed. It's like I don't need to like have Reds dirty like expressions as the last thing I hear before I go to sleep. So yeah, so I'm glad he's gone.
Glad he's gone. Okay, cool. Pat, are you glad Red's gone? Obviously, as
Uh,
we talk about this week, it's going to be a little bit fun, but in the moment,
in the moment, I was happy that Jag stayed. Um, I was, I was happy that Red went home because I feel like he could have easily got himself out of this situation if he just had a conversation with Cameron about the whole but nobody likes to, you know, even remotely think game or long term whatsoever. And so everybody's just taking everything for face value, which again, we just see the downfall of it. And it's insane to me that no one is putting any pieces together. I think it's very obvious. But it's clear that these people are not game players. They're not like, I feel like they've never watched the show before. And it's like they're just getting like dunked on by Sari. And it's infuriating because it's like
Yeah.
we can pinpoint where the problem is, and if Red had just talked to Cameron and cleared everything up, like, because I mean, what Cameron did was like, he kind of sold him down the river, but like Jared was feeding Red stuff that wasn't even true,
sure.
and now and just because, and the only reason Red stayed was because he was like, you know what, maybe I should talk to Cameron. He said that to Jared, and Jared's like, oh, well, we can't have that. And goes, why would you even tell? Just talk to Cameron. You don't need to announce that you might go talk to Cameron. Like, it's insane to me that these people are not comparing notes. It blows my. So you know what? It's like kind of good riddance. And it turns out this is probably going to be the best HOH all summer. So, I've kind of done a 180 on Cameron
Yeah.
because we literally had to slam it in his face that things are not going the way you think it is. Do something about it. And so finally we get a situation where he has to, like, he kind of wakes up a little bit.
Did you guys get the sense that throughout the episode, the latest episode where Cameron had won the HOH, that he might just go down the same road and not nominate anybody that just voted against him?
Like, do we think that he was going to put up blue and so like he said he was?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that he kind of like winked a lot at the camera and like showed us what he was gonna do. Duke, I just gotta say, your audio sounds so great, and it sounds like Patrick's at the bottom of a well. So like that's what's throwing me, right? So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, it's
Pat,
terrible. It's the worst audio I've ever heard. Like when your Uncle Derek and I used to do a tin, two cups and a piece of twine, sounded better than this. So so dude, while he's trying to fix the audio because that was garbage, I will say that there was at no point that I think Cameron was going to put Blue and Jag up. Like it would have been the stupidest move ever.
Can you hear me now? Is this better?
Oh
Much
my
better.
God.
Much
So
better.
much
Okay.
better.
Well, did nobody, while I was talking for 2 minutes, nobody wanted to stop me?
I was just like, let him. I was just let Pat cook. Let Pat
So
cook. I don't want to break it up.
let me cook, but nobody can hear it. You just
Dude,
gotta
it was
put
garbage. It was garbage audio, bro. Like there's audio people who are listening to this who are like hanging themselves.
You just gotta put subtitles underneath.
It's so bad.
I also didn't, because I thought he was very much like, I like the move he did where he was like, I am putting up balloons, and he told, because I think he's finally realizing that no conversation. If I talk to you, it immediately gets out. There is no safety in this house. There is no hush hush. Everything you say is going to be backtracked because people are like, well, this is going to buy me some favors, which is crazy to me. But so he finally does the smart thing and doesn't tell anybody anything important and says, okay, Blue and Jag. And that was the smartest move, I think, the entire summer, just not telling anyone what he was going to do.
Does it
Agreed.
kind of put him in a situation where now he's kind of just a lone wolf and has to comp out? He's not really putting trust in anybody. Like, he didn't even tell Bowie Jane, the person that, was also in the same boat as him in terms of the blind side of Red.
I think he had to. I agree. I understand how Bowie Jane is so upset and she's crying and stuff, but this guy can't trust anybody. He was already the lone wolf, right? So he's going to take care of Bowie Jane, but he doesn't know who to trust right now. So as he's trying to sort of figure it out, he needs to take that time. And I think Bowie Jane will get over it. There's no way that Bowie Jane's going to be upset with him. And in a week or two, we're not going to see that she was upset with him for how he handled it, because as long as she doesn't go on the block, she's going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like nobody's talking to Bowie Jane. Zero people are talking game with Bowie Jane.
This is the most we've seen of Bowie Jane, and it was her crying the entire time. And every time she comes on screen, I'm like, this is wild that you're still here.
Right.
I feel like she's a figment of my imagination. It's like,
right. Good day, Julie. Good day, Julie.
And once, before we even continue this conversation, I'm going to put my fucking head through a plate glass window if one more time, every time somebody votes somebody out, it is a monologue of people they're thanking, and it infuriates the shit out of me. And it's just they're like, the doors open and they're like, and this person and all of Australia, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, shut up. Say who you're voting for. Get out, dude. This is why we're not seeing any of the competitions after the fact, because everybody takes 20 minutes to thank people, and it's crazy to me.
You gotta get the birthday shout outs.
Dude, is it everybody's birthday? Does everyone have a birthday on that one day? Jeez.
Not only that, but my favorite part is when they rehearse a dance that they're going to do and they connect in the hallway and someone's not into it. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they realize, okay, you were not doing anything. Well, I'm just going to walk by you. It's awkward. Yeah. I love it.
Or they mess it up and it's like, we're crazy. Stop doing it.
And this season, two of the ladies often check themselves out in the mirror during a live show, seconds of time going by. And I can see Julie's probably in the studio being like, what is she doing? It's like, you're not going to drastically change your look in the 3 seconds that you have.
And this goes to the point of these people have clearly never watched the show, because that always, as soon as someone's walking out, it cuts to the camera of the people coming in. It always does. I don't know why they're not. It's just, oh my God, drives me insane.
Let's talk about the HOH competition. We see Red get voted out, Jag, 2 votes against Jag. Before we talk about the HOH competition, actually, what do you think, Patrick, of Blue volunteering Jag, her number 1 ally, to be a pawn this week? A little short-sighted.
Not great. She got that close to just volunteering her best. He was that close to leaving. Number 2, Blue is my winner pick, and I am regretting it a lot. First of all, I saw on Instagram they did a thing for Big Brother, and it was what is your NFL team? What's your favorite NFL team? And for NFL Sunday, and Blue just said something like, Kitty, there's no NFL team called Kitty Kitty Purr, so I'll have to go with this, the Rams. And I was like, dude, that was
she's gonna get roasted in the replies.
Everyone hates Blue. You sift through the comments, every single comment is Blue's trying too hard. Blue is so cringy. And then going on, I'm like, dude, everyone hates Blue. And it's like, you do shit like that. I'm sorry. And like, Corey's just like, well, I'm a Cardinals fan, so I'm going to go with the Cardinals. And I was like, can we just have like that? Because that's normal. That's like a normal. Corey is the only person who is like a real human being. And Blue's just like this, like over the top, like kitty purse sleigh boots, mama. And I'm like, that's not how people talk. What are you doing? And it's just, again, another infuriating. The season is driving me up a wall. But Blue volunteering Jag, what the fuck are you? You were just on the block with your best friend, and you're saying, and by a miracle, he stays, and the week resets, and then you throw him up as and Jag's probably just like, what the fuck, dude? Like you're supposed to be my best. Like what is happening?
It's like they're in a room with their entire alliance, and there's plenty of people that aren't in the alliance that are outside the room. Say somebody else out there, you know?
Literally anyone who's not in the room. And then if I'm Jag, I'm like, first of all, what are you doing? And then as soon as she says, well, Jag, you could go up as a pawn, and everyone's like, you know what? That's a great idea. We should do that. Let's throw Jag and ever in the same room. And Jag's like, okay, I guess I have to fucking do this.
I guess this was discussed before I came in.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that he didn't realize that they had talked about this for 20 minutes before he walked in. But this is a girl who was crying nonstop the week before because she couldn't bear being up there with her best friend. And then she tosses his ass back up there. It was a terrible idea.
I mean, it's just like, it makes no sense to me.
Jag stays. 2 votes against him, obviously Cameron and Bowie Jane. And then we go right into this this HOH competition. Obviously, Cameron has a reaction to his boy getting, voted out, very emotional, a couple seconds there. But when the competition's being described and it's the fart competition, and
Oh yeah, that was
count the
gross.
farts. What'd you guys think of the competition? It was gross, right? Yeah.
You know what's funny? Before they said it was the title was something toot. So I didn't realize until I saw clouds of colored smoke coming out of people's asses that it was actually a fart competition. Like I don't know what I thought it would be, but it was like, wow, CBS, we just stopped caring. We just don't care anymore. And poor Julie had to say it. Like, I mean, if people remember, Julie was the lead anchor on the CBS morning news, national show. And now she's reduced to having a toot competition and where you have to count the farts and it was just so, I felt bad for her.
And it's also funny that Julie's dream is to be on 60 Minutes and got close to it and then has to do a toot competition. It's like, boy, how the mighty have fallen, unfortunately. But yeah, it was like, it got old. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then immediately 20 seconds in, I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this, please. They do one of the most, and that's another thing with this, they do one of the most insane, intricate, really cool competitions with that. When they went to that soundstage and it was like a horror movie set and you have to that was oh, that was sick. That's so cool. And now we're doing toot competitions. It's like the peak and then just the absolute worst of competition. This season is crazy.
Once you guys kind of saw the first couple rounds and were like, okay, we understand what's going on here. You count the farts, whatever colors. Did you guys think this is in Cameron's wheelhouse? Because I thought he would be out pretty early on. I thought it wasn't physical or anything. I didn't think he had really that big of a chance to win. But what did you guys think?
I couldn't compete at all. I didn't know I was terrible. I didn't know, I had every answer wrong. So I was grossed out while I was doing it. I felt ashamed that I was doing it to begin with. And so I had all sorts of emotions happening. So, but I didn't get any of them right. And the fact that that anybody was getting the right answer was blowing my mind. So, but wait, was that a true or false? Oh, okay, so that's why. But still, I didn't know. I didn't know what to pick. I would have been terrible. So, am I surprised that Cameron won? Not really. I was really kind of just pulling for him, because at that point it was like this guy's now made himself interesting. He's now the interesting character to watch. When somebody's that hated, and everybody wants him out, then it's fun to root for him.
Yeah. I agree. I was also like, I got lost right after the first one, and I was like, I'm out. So
yeah,
and I thought it was more of like I was really looking for, because out of the players, I was like, it'd be cool if I mean, I don't want to see Bowie Jang win because I think she's boring, but
yeah,
I was Cameron. I was like, I would love to see Cameron. I would love to see. I thought that Corey was going to win. I thought that was kind of like in his wheelhouse. But I was like, I don't think he takes a shot. I think he goes for the easy target, which is Cameron and Bowie Jang. Or I wanted America to win because I think America, with the information that Jared is contemplating putting her up, she probably would have made a move on the other side. So it was either, for me, I was like America, and I think she made it relatively later in the competition. But I was rooting for Cameron the entire time because I just want to see something better. And the fact that he won, and I'm going to ask you, Duke, what did you think about the reaction? I mean, one of the all-time best reactions to an HOH. It was pure awkwardness, and I loved every second of it. But what did you think?
So I wish that I think it went back and forth between Julie and like the audio of everybody that was competing. I wish it just stayed on that, because he came around the corner from where they were competing and nobody was clapping. And I thought that it would have been so fun to hear just the awkward silence the entire time through. But it was beautiful. It was so fun to watch. Uncle Shane, what did you think of the reaction of everybody once Cameron won?
Well, you mean there was the zero reaction? It felt like what was like the Jets sideline last night when Aaron Rodgers went down, right? It was like the coach. Everybody was just like, "Oh wow, okay, so we just did Hard Knocks. We did all
situation that could have happened.
The worst thing could have happened." So I didn't love the Aaron Rodgers thing, but I did love the end of that episode and the fact that you could just hear crickets. It was great. Yeah. No, they can't even hide it anymore. They hate him so much, It's great.
It was beautiful. It was so fun to watch. And then we get this latest episode where we see him not telling anybody, what his true intentions were. And then, the nomination ceremony gets there and they stop it before he turns the keys. And there's a twist of, you're going to pie people in the face that you want to be safe. And he played it up well. I think he really milked it. He could have, I guess, revealed Jag and Blue earlier and it wouldn't have been as dramatic, but he waited pretty much all the way to the end to pie those two in the face. And it was beautiful. What did you think, Patrick? I know that you talk about Izzy a lot. She was
just in life or like on this podcast?
No, in life too. That's all I do.
You don't like Izzy, right? She's getting ready to get pied, taking her glasses off. And then she just puts him back on because she knows what's about to happen. What did you think of Izzy during this?
That was awesome. That was awesome. I at first when they revealed the pie to us, I was like, oh, dude, this is gonna suck. That kind of breaks tension. And then he just milked it, and I was like, oh, this is great. It turned into the best. Because initially I'm like, oh, I just want that fast, pure reaction of it's not Blue and Jag. But I think this was even better. And the fact that he waited at the end, oh my God. And it was also, I'm not a huge fan of Izzy. I think she tries way too hard. And I think the only reason she's aligned with Sari is because of the fact that she knows that Jared and that, built something day one. I think if things went differently, I mean, I don't know. she's just kind of annoying, and she seems like she's riding a coattail. And her and Felicia, I think they both think that they are running the game, which they're really not. It's Sari that is like the head of the snake, and so it's funny to see two people who think they're all good and they think they got all the steps planned out just get blindsided. Like that is like that's fun to watch. And Izzy and Felicia are the two prime for that. And it was just her reaction, like I'm coming for it. I hope Cameron wins the veto. I want him to. That'd be awesome. And then I loved it. I thought it was so funny.
How about though, Izzy takes off her glasses, but like Felicia pulls out her chompers, like, and drops them on the table. Did you guys see that? Did you notice that? She took that out of her mouth.
Yeah.
That was gross. But you're talking about how like Mama Felicia thinks she's like running stuff. She got crazy this week, right? Like she was just, she was doing stupid mistakes, telling Red that he could have his cupcake or leave it or take it home. It was like, what? And then she just walks out of the room. Like she would screw up and just walked out of the room, leaving everybody else to clean up her mess. And Sari is just like, wait, what is going on? And then she decides to take Jared to the side and talk game with him about. Now, granted, she doesn't know that they're mother and son, but still, he's part of their alliance. It was just she thinks she's calling the shots, like Patrick said, and she's not, and she's screwing up big.
She definitely had a terrible episode, right? This past episode, completely revealing to Blue that he's getting voted out. And yeah, the Jared thing. But I want to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think this was the right move for Cameron? He mentions, he's viewing Sari as being the head of that snake. So he's going to nominate these two because he clearly thinks that they're kind of underneath her. Do you think that Cameron should have put Sari up just in general, as opposed to these two?
I think that he's leaving her if somebody is able to win the veto, is my guess, is that then you put her up. I think that I think that I'm surprised that he hasn't said what he would do in his sort of like testimonial, like in that like room, unless, the producers like so much the fact that nobody knows what he's about to do and they're just edited, like they're not including that in the little packages. But yeah, I think that Sari's probably going to go up if someone pulls themselves off.
Let's run a scenario where Felicia gets the veto and, Cameron renominates Sari, and it's Sari and Izzy. Do you think there is a chance Izzy reveals the relationship between Sari and Jared to the house?
100%. Because this is what I think this season is all about. No one knows how information is not safe. No one knows how to play this game. It is insane. And I think Izzy is so hungry for power and revenge and making a big move and doing this and doing that, where she will sell out Jared and Sari if it means to save her skin. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but if push comes to shove, I think she blows the whole thing up if it means getting her another week.
See, that would be the smart move. And I don't know that Izzy is going to do the smart move. So I think that she would maybe hold on to that, thinking that she's got this allegiance to them. And but no, I think that she would, I think she would hold on to that information, and she would potentially be shit out of luck.
Where do you think the Sari and that side of the house at this point, where do you think, if the nominations were to stay the same, where do you think she would lean towards, voting out Izzy or voting out Felicia?
I think it's going to be Felicia. I think they're going to vote out Felicia because I think she's been playing so sloppily, and I think that information is coming back to Suri, and so I think Suri would probably find this as an opportunity to get somebody who is messing up and like divulging really important information to the other side of the house. So I think they're probably going to go for Felicia.
I think you got to get rid of Felicia because it sounds like there's a dead animal dying when she's sleeping. Like
Oh my
only
God.
worst, the only worst audio than Patrick at the bottom of the well at the start of this podcast was Felicia sleeping the other night. Like, imagine being like, that is scary to wake up to that.
And Corey's reaction to that was the best. He was like, "What the fuck?"
Kind of like
It
half
sounded like she
singing,
wasn't
half
alone.
yelling.
Yeah, it sounded like she wasn't alone.
Right.
Oh God. Oh God.
What do you think the move for Cameron is going to be moving? Like, I thought the move of him saying to Jag. Now I don't know if Jag's going to hold his end of the bargain up, but if you win, just keep me safe for a week. I won't put you up. I don't know if that's something Jag would do. But like, what do you think moving forward? Because he can't compete, and the likelihood of Bowie Jang winning HOH is very slim. What do you think the move is for Cameron moving forward after this week? Because he can't compete.
I think Cameron falls into an interesting position after this week because I think that if the nominations stay the same, I think that side you're going to start to see cracks because people are going to be fighting and kind of selling people out. I think he does come in trouble if anybody from that side wins again, but I think that the Americas, the Coreys, the people that are not in with Suri will not take a shot at Cameron after this week for the next couple weeks. But once we get closer towards like single digits of players and closer towards the end game, I think Cameron's going to have to comp out because people will find him threatening towards the end. But yeah.
I think that if you just really like lean into being the villain, you could always say, you're going to want to be up with me at the final because I don't have any friends in the jury house type deal. So just, if you're going to be a dick, be like a dick,
Yeah.
And by the way, they all pushed him in that direction. I don't think that he's naturally that guy. I think they pushed him in that direction, and now that's all he has left to do, So.
And it's crazy because I think even if the vote was like 6-4 red out, I don't think he would have seen what was happening, which is crazy to me. I think the vote revealed a lot, and it was, thank God that Cameron saw through Suri being like, Red was talking all this shit on you, like we had to get him out. And for a second, I was like, she's doing a pretty good job selling this case that it was Red who was selling him down the river and this and that, and then cut to Cameron being like, I don't believe that for a second. So I think he's finally realizing, and I think if he's smart, he's got to get Corey in America and, Jag and Blue. Well, Jag and Blue are in that alliance, but there are no alliances anymore. So if he's smart, he's got to start recruiting these people to be like, listen, these are the people that we need to go after. They're the ones running everything. But if that happens, it happens. I don't think it's gonna, but I think you're right, Duke. I think he's gonna need to comp out which sucks because he's the only one making a move.
Yeah. The last question I have for you guys before we wrap up is if Suri ends up being the renom, is there any way that you think that Suri would get voted out, or do you think she has enough pull on the house to save herself?
I think she saves herself. I think that it's as much as Jared is a liability, he can also help in a scenario like that, and especially since he's got a girlfriend who has a best friend in the house, I think that Suri's protected for at least now.
Yeah. Because I think of numbers wise, she would need 5 votes to stay.
Yeah.
So, if it's her and Izzy are on the block, Felicia's going to vote for Suri to stay, Jared, Blue, Matt, definitely. And then you have Jag, who would probably vote. So Cerise, I think if anyone is even remotely trying to win this game, you vote out Cerise. But I don't think nobody's looking long term whatsoever other than Cerise.
That's where I think, like, at that point, I think you look at Suri, people like Corey are completely aware of how she's played in Survivor and, the trader game. I think maybe he tries to actually, sway the vote to get her out. And I think he has a compelling case because she's clearly the biggest threat in the game. But will everybody buy into that? I don't know.
It's like that the season with Paul. BB, what was it, like 20, 22 or something? Like, well, Paul came back for the third time to play, and everyone just was like, we're just gonna follow the leader here, and the only person was what was his name?
Cody, yeah.
Cody. This is the exact same season where you have all these people following one seasoned veteran who's calling all the shots, who think they're playing a good game because they're following the leader. And it's insane to me that no one is like doing anything about it. It's just
right.
It's boring and it's not fun to watch. This is the only week that I'm actually very excited to watch.
A nice spicy week. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up for tonight?
So do you think that we got like Zingbot or anything like that coming up?
Zingbot, I think a couple more weeks. I think it's usually like 8 or 9 people.
Okay.
But I think we might see OTEV, the veto competition, pretty soon.
Oh, nice.
OTEV would be fun.
It's always fun. But yeah, sorry about your guys' teams this week. The Giants 0-40 and obviously Aaron Rodgers, but it's been always a pleasure talking Big Brother.
See you guys next week.